So at the start of the battle, right? The garrison and the main thing of the battle is obviously Mantua, where we know that is the key to Italy. And the Austrians are now gathering in the Tyrol a massive army. So they are going to be attacking. And Napoleon, as usual, is not getting reinforcements and is getting ever more demanding tasks from the director. So in January, they have to relieve the city by the middle towards the end of Jan, otherwise it's over. Now, Alvinci is reinforced that his army in the mountains is now exceeding almost for over 46,000 men and equipment. It's a massive army. Napoleon is right now having around 10,000 men of General Serrier, who is not going to participate in the battle because he is holding down Mantua. While it's weakened and there are only maybe a similar number of soldiers, there are more Austrian defenders that are not dead. They're starving. So he can afford to besiege them while being outnumbered. Then at the same time, General Augereau is to the west. He has about 9,000 men, and he's watching the eastern approaches to Mantua. And Messena is in Verona, just kind of like, as a guard between the two. Like, think of it as a linchpin between, the northern and eastern approaches, which are the only ways anyone else can come to Mantua right now. And at the same time, near the southwestern part of Lake Garda, sorry, just screw that up. He has a strategic reserve of about 4,000 men. Now, Juba is now a divisional commander. He got the promotion just before Rivoli. And he is obviously keeping eye on the northern plateau base and is going to concentrate his forces around the town of Rivoli, which is obviously an ideal defensive location and quite near Verona, which is one of the four quadrilaterals fortresses of part of the quadrilateral fortress of Austria. Now, at this point, Napoleon is kind of south, trying to put pressure on the Pope. Now, Alvinci has to hurry. So what he does is he splits his army first into two. He detaches about 14,000 men to march down, from Venice and come from the east. And this, he hopes, is going to wrong-foot Napoleon, that he will at least draw away a bulk of his forces to meet this decoy force. It's nothing more than a decoy under General Provera. And then he can use his much larger army, go down the Alps past Lake Rivoli and Lake Garda and relieve Mantua. And it looks like, and there is precedence. People in this time, they don't really innovate. So it's a good bet to guess that someone is going to do the same thing again at this time. So Napoleon does think that it could be there. Now, unfortunately, he and his staff officers are a bit dumb, to say the least, General Alvinci. So his 30,000 main force, approximately, is divided into 6 columns. The first column has a very great task of trying to outflank Joubert's forward outpost at Ferrara. So it's a small settlement north of Mantua on the main valley. And the second and third column are going to make a frontal assault. Now, unfortunately, they forgot to consider one thing. It's January in the Alps. Weather is freezing. There are it's snowed in. It's destroying momentum. The men cannot move. And the planned path, which might have been traversable in the summers, is not at all usable in the winter. They have to take a much wider outflanking route. And there's no firewood for these men in the mountains. And yeah, I think they're at an altitude of almost 2,000 meters. So yeah, it was not a pleasant situation, and I think they lost around 200, 300 men just to the cold. So
Yeah, it's
it's a
pretty rough.
small, yeah. Ultimately, you know, the second and third columns and these first guys also attack, and that's all Joubert has is really a small watch force. It's not at all close to his main army, main detachment. And they skirmish a bit, and they just, give Alvinsi's men a bit of a bloody nose, inflicting slightly more casualties on them, and then they fall back. In the meantime, um, and this is actually quite there, like a British attaché was like, it was quite stupid to even, I mean, I'm not paraphrasing, I was quoting him exactly, but the message was like, it was quite stupid to even consider such a movement that where basis whether you are determining an entire operation. Well, we've seen that's going to repeat in 1944, just saying. And so Napoleon returns to north of Mantua. There's a small village called Rovabella, and he now gets multiple reports. So so the decoy forces attacked both Ogero and Massena's divisions at Verona and at Leniago, and it looks like they are going to cross the river and try to break in. And he also knows Joubert has also been attacked, at least at his outpost. Now he doesn't know which is the main strike. He's like, could he try something new? Could he be, trying to take one of the two eastern passages like he did last time? If so, which passage is he going to take? And his forces are thinly spread out. Napoleon does not have the manpower to counter it. If you include the garrison at Mantua, there are um, I think, over 60,000 Austrian soldiers in the field. So it's quite, and his total force is about 43,000. So for him, he has to guess correctly what is the enemy's true intention, or else he's finished. And luckily for him, Joubert sends a message of confirmation saying that, hey, you know what? This is actually the main battle. They are coming down here because he's now detected the first column, which was making the wide outflanking route march. And then he deduces that this has to be the main assault. Otherwise, if it's a decoy force, why would you go that extra steps to have a massive outflanking force? So he informs Napoleon that, this is going to be the key battle. You got to get over here.